purpose today really is that we want to kind of break the stigma of men's mental health. And
I felt sick, because it was just such a tough situation at times.
the person I was born to be wants to do all the things that the person I was called to be knows that I shouldn't be doing. Hey, welcome back to the 3PX show.
Welcome
and
back.
just as a reminder, I'm Steve.
This is Wayne.
And that's Wayne. And we're glad you're back with us. If this is your first time, hey, glad you found us. And if you've come back again, welcome back. We're happy that you're here. And today we're going to talk about something that I don't like to talk about. I'm pretty sure Wayne doesn't like to talk about. I don't think there's any man who loves to talk about this stuff, but and we're going to talk about it from a men's point of view. So, we're going to use the word men, man, all that. I'm sure probably a lot during this episode, but I can't speak to it from the other point of view.
Well, that's true.
So
we can't.
I can only speak to it from one point of view. But this is a topic that's it's difficult to talk about for a lot of guys, particularly guys who are in leadership roles. They're viewed as being the provider and all that. There's a lot of pressure there. So, the purpose today really is that we want to kind of break the stigma of men's mental health. And we just want to have some honest conversations because strength is a word that we admire, especially in men. But somewhere along the way, strength and strong became confused with silent. And I want to challenge that today because as men, we're carrying the weight of life, leadership, family, expectations. That pressure alone is more crushing than we realize. And you have to be able to talk about that.
Yeah.
And
to be fair about it too, to right now, just to throw this out there, there's a lot of women out there that are carrying a lot of that pressure and stress as well, that they're feeling it too. And I think that this happens to go towards more, we're going to talk about it from a man's point of view, but this happens to go more towards a leader in general, right? Because in leadership as a CEO or somebody in power, you have to be strong. And like you said, when you're strong, sometimes that means being silent, being quiet, and regardless of what you're dealing with emotionally.
Yeah. And that can backfire on you.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone in your life that you trust enough to share how you're feeling or what you're going through. So,
Sure.
Mental health matters for everyone. Male, female, kids, adults, mental health matters for everyone. But men, especially leaders, whether you're male or female, but men in general have this stigma where we feel like we have the least permission to talk about it.
You're right.
And that silence it's costing us marriages. It's costing us physical health. It's costing us connection. It's costing us so much because, there's guys out there that are just suffering in silence.
Oh my gosh.
Basically.
Yes.
So
just brought up a story me to talk about in a little bit, but go ahead.
No, you can talk about it now.
Gosh, this has been 25, 30 years ago. Stephanie and I, we moved. I worked for a family business for a long time, for 10 years, worked with my dad. After 10 years, we decided, hey, it's time to make a move because there's changes going on, dynamics in the family. And I thought, hey, it's time to make a transition. And so we made a move and we went to work for a customer that we had known for 10 years. And we moved down to Tupelo, Mississippi and did that and went to work for this customer. I was a plant manager. Thought I knew the guy for 10 years. And when I got there, realized, knowing someone from the outside versus working for someone can be two totally different things. And I found that out in a hard way that, I went to work for a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is what I said, because one minute you're best friends, the next minute just berating you in front of other people. And it taught me a lot of lessons during that time of how not to treat people and all that kind of thing. But really one of the toughest, I went through some of the toughest times in a 2.5-year stretch of being plant manager at that one. I learned a lot. It probably grew me a lot, but my physical aspect of me, I felt sick, because it was just such a tough situation at times. Because there were times I'd go in at 2:00 in the morning, or we'd be out because we as a facility that would run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. because it had extrusion equipment in it, and that's just when you turn it on, you don't turn it off, and because it's sitting there making products. When it goes off and gets cold, takes a half a day or longer to heat up, and so it's just one of those operations you got to keep running. And there were times that we would, we'd be out with friends at dinner, and I'd get a call, and you know, at that time, they didn't call their actual manager. They called me as a plant manager, and then I try to call my managers, and either they didn't answer the call or something or whatever, and then I would be the one that would go in or things like that, and just to make sure that things were running properly, or even to the point where I would go into the office and just try to take care of things, and it was in the middle of the night, and it was just a tough environment, tough situation, and it really had me in a breaking moment, to be honest with you, and it was really tough. Stephanie could see it in me. She could see how my physical well being was just deteriorating, just really quick. I probably got more gray hairs during that tenure than I have my entire life. It seems like, but it was a tough thing, and it's hard to talk about those because you know, going through for the first time and that's such a stressful moment because I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do. And I remember and I've told this story several times before, but I remember that manager, that boss, he came into my office one day after 2.5 years and said, "Hey, we're going to make a change and I'm going to let you go." And I just remember looking at him and I got a big smile on my face and I was like, "Hey, thank you. I appreciate it."
Hmm.
And he's like, "You know I'm firing you, right?" I was like, "Yes, I do. Thank you." I turned around, I grabbed my stuff, and I walked out, and I never looked back. It was such a relief, and how many times can you say it's a relief to get fired? Well, that right there was one of the biggest reliefs I ever had, and that's what actually, I ended up getting into the door business shortly after, working for someone else and learning about doors and all that kind of thing. But man, that was such a tough moment.
Yeah. Was there a time where you were able to open up to Stephanie or someone else kind of about, what you were going through or how you were feeling? Like, how did you just kind of carry it yourself or did you open up and kind of talk to somebody about it?
Um, Exactly what you said. I carried it myself. And that's what we do, right? We carry it
Yeah.
ourselves, and it just builds up almost to where you're almost get ready to explode. Because it's just how much of it can you carry? How much of it can you handle? I mean, Stephanie and I, we talked about it a little bit. I didn't know how to communicate it, to be honest with you. I just, I just carried it. It was a burden, a big time burden. Now, after uh, I left there, we talked more about it, and I could express my feelings more on it. But man, it was tough. I don't, when you don't know, you don't know, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to kind of talk through, some things that I went through, and truth be told, there's only maybe 5 people in the whole world who know this or who have heard this. Well, that's not true. I shared some of it in a group setting.
So, are
Um,
you sure you want to share that on the podcast?
yeah. So I mean, after I said that, I thought, I did share this. I actually shared it in a church setting. Um, one time. So, but I think this is the awkwardness of not wanting to talk about it
Right,
because there's going to be people who watch or hear that are going to judge you. Like we got to get over
right,
eventually, right? Like I think that's the issue. And if I don't say, hey, like here's some things I was going through, then all I'm doing is reinforcing the stigma that men shouldn't talk about it
yeah,
and you shouldn't tell anybody. So it was this started a few years ago, and and I can't necessarily point to anything like whether it was a midlife crisis or I don't know, but all of a sudden, like how I was feeling just started to change, and I couldn't explain it. One thing I'll never forget is that I have told people that how I feel. The person that I was born to be is different than the person I was called to be.
right,
And basically, what I mean by that is the, the person I was born to be wants to do all the things that the person I was called to be knows that I shouldn't be doing. But the war in your heart and in your mind for me was enough to drive me crazy.
Mhm.
Cause I'm constantly looking back to like the old life that I used to live and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I had this strong desire almost every day to want to go back to that.
Yeah.
And it was a battle of that's not who God called me to be, kind of thing. And, so I'm dealing with that, on a daily basis. And it was, starting to really get to me, mentally. Then, I had a very close friend of mine, who I started talking to more and more, who was really having mental health crisis and, was suicidal and, was telling me that we needed to hide the guns in his house because he was scared that he was going to, do something wrong. So I was dealing with that. And this is somebody who I viewed as like, um, only way to say it is like a man's man, like tough, just
Right.
you would never expect, like you just expect that a guy's carrying all that. And then you hear him, he's like breaking down, crying on the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, then I started to realize like, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. Like there's somebody else going through this. And, the bad part for me was I'm not a military veteran. I'm not a first responder veteran. I haven't seen a bunch of bad things all of my life. So what I was struggling with, like this depression that I was falling into, and this anger that I was dealing with, I didn't really know exactly where it was coming from. So when I heard other like I'd watch Instagram or see videos or whatever about other guys dealing with stuff, it was always to me it was always guys who were dealing with trauma, PTSD, something like that. Well, I didn't have any of those, so that
Right.
made me feel even worse. You know what I mean? Well, then um, I'm just still carrying it. I'm sleeping a lot. Like all I wanted to do was just go home and like I just wanted to be asleep
Yeah.
because I didn't want to be dealing with thinking about it.
Drown it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what happened is, and I'm cutting through a lot. We had major issues inside the family. We had major turmoil and things, going on with kids, and it was just not good. It was not good. Then, a very close friend, of mine who like you could say we were best friends, went to church together, just very close, worked together every day, developed a lot of trust and loyalty, just completely, I'm going to use the word betrayal, but that's how I felt, just completely betrayed us. And it was the worst betrayal I'd ever felt in my entire life. And, it stung bad where it's all I thought about all day, every day is how could someone who says they love you, says they have your back and all this kind of stuff do something like so treacherous,
Yeah.
and lie about it. And I just, man, that hurt me bad. Well, I think that wasn't like the catalyst, but that was like on top of what I was already going through. So it got to the point where I was suicidal. I hate to say that. It's embarrassing to say, but I'd be driving my truck down the road and there were times I'm thinking I could just put this thing into a tree and it'd be over. Easy, right? Done. And I never did that, obviously, but it eventually got to a point where I said, I got to talk to somebody. So I finally got up enough courage to tell Landy, you know, and I remember starting the conversation. I was like, hey, like, there's something wrong with me. Like, something's going on. Something's wrong. She's like, well, what do you mean? And it was like hard to articulate. It's like, I don't feel good. I don't feel like myself, but it's hard to get the words out,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And eventually we talked and, determined like, hey, I need to go talk to somebody. Now, before I get into that, and I don't want to drag this out, but I this is not like a religion thing, but I come from I have a religious background where I've heard preachers say you just got to pray, give it to Jesus, pray about it, and let the Lord take care of it. Right? I had I had people in my life that talked about if anti-depression medication and you shouldn't need that stuff if you're a Christian and all that. That's what was kind of beat into my brain.
Yeah.
So when I heard go to talk to somebody, I'm immediately thinking I can't do that. Well, up to this point, you want to talk about praying, dude, I was praying calling out to God, begging for help, trying to give it to the Lord, doing everything I possibly knew to do. And then I would start to get angry because I have seen so many other people delivered from all types of stuff, alcohol, drugs, you name it. I've seen people
Right.
go to the altar, and be healed from that. Well, here I am trying to, do what everybody's telling me to do, that what I've always heard, give it to the Lord. And I'm like, dude, if I hear one more person say, pray about it or give it to the Lord, I'm not saying that that can't be an answer for you. But when you're in that moment and you're doing all the things you know to possibly do and it ain't working, you get desperate,
Yeah.
So I'm doing all those things, reading the Bible, praying, trying to work through it, trying to give it to God and all that. And it's just getting worse, not better.
Right.
So finally, Landy's like, hey, we're talking, and she's like, you need to go talk to somebody. So I started seeing a counselor, psychiatrist, whatever. So I start talking to somebody, great lady. I'm talking to her for probably like 6 months. I'm going there every week for like 6 months talking, and it just isn't doing the trick. Like I'm learning a lot about myself, and like my childhood, and maybe how some of those things kind of impact the way I think and how I feel and all that. But at the end of the day, like I'm not feeling any better.
Yeah.
So then I decide to talk to my doctor, and my primary care physician, and just share, kind of what I'm going through. And I ended up, when you get to a point where you feel like you don't have anywhere else to turn, she's like, well, why don't we try this? So I tried this medication, and it took about almost a year of trying some different things. It's crazy I'm even talking about this because I've never shared this part before. It took about a year of trying different things, and I wasn't feeling better, so we'd make a change. It takes about 3 months, give it about 3 months, and so like you're in this for the long game. She prescribed me something. I take it for about 3 months, really no change. We make a slight change. I start feeling better over the next 3 months, but I have zero energy. So then we make another change in like the third 3 month cycle. So after 9 months, finally, like, I don't want to say nailed it, but got it, where I felt my emotions like evened out. I had good energy and all that kind of stuff. So I never thought I would be the person to sit here and say this, because of the way I kind of grew up and the way I was always taught, believing that someone who's taking medicine for depression or whatever is like, must be crazy, or it's an easy way out or something like that. And man, did I learn a lot.
Hmm.
So it taught me a lot about grace, and and understanding what people might be going through, and all that. So I can sit here today and I can tell you that that I've been through it. I tried to keep it to myself. It just about drove me insane. It was detrimental to my marriage, my kids. I was always on edge, always frustrated, short fuse, slept a lot. Nothing made me happy. I was reaching out 100 different ways to try to find something that would give me peace. I went through gas station cheeseburgers. You remember that phase? Like I'd go get a gas station cheeseburger because that was like, it always felt good eating that cheeseburger, man. It made me feel better. And then when it was gone, it's like right back to that thing, not feeling good. I went through my McDonald's McFlurry phase.
Yep.
You remember those?
I do.
All the puzzle pieces are coming together now.
Yeah.
Like every time I leave the office, I'd go and get a McDonald's McFlurry, because I tried to let that be a time where I would, like, I'm eating this McFlurry, man. It tastes so good. Let me get my mind right, kind of thing. But then when the McFlurry's done, all the stuff's still there. Swimming in the pool every night, every day. I'd get home from work. I'd go jump in the pool, float, watch the butterflies and the flowers. Like
Yep,
I'm
I
trying
remember.
to create spaces for myself
Yeah.
to improve my mental health,
Yeah.
and nothing worked. I hate to say it, nothing worked. I finally found something that worked, and it's working for me. So the big takeaway here is, men don't talk because we're socially conditioned to try to solve it on our own
Yeah.
and not share with other people. The other problem is we fear burdening other people with our problems.
Right.
It's our job as men to take on the problems of other people, and and all that kind of stuff. We don't want to burden anybody else. And then the other thing is, there's just a general expectation, particularly for leaders in the workplace, that you are the emotional anchor of the company.
Yeah.
You can't be the one having issues. You can't be the one that's got problems because you're the leader. Everybody's looking to you. You're the one who should be carrying the load, for everybody else. And then just quite frankly, the other thing is family upbringing. This is, God bless my dad, but he grew up in a different generation, and I'll never forget, his saying was, walk it off.
Yeah.
You get hurt, walk it off. Something's wrong, walk it off, shake it off,
Rub some dirt on it.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was, that was it. So, we grew up just kind of shake whatever
Yeah.
you're going through,
Condition.
shake it
Yeah.
off, kind of thing. And I'm not saying times have changed, but we have to change our thinking, and then we have to be okay talking about the things we're going through
Yeah.
with people we trust.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you sharing that. That this is the first time I've heard the story, but as you said right there, it just, part of the sharing is that you feel like it can make you a weaker person. And honestly, it doesn't. I mean, it shows that you're real, because everybody has emotions. It's not just, well, I'm not allowed to have emotions because I'm a CEO or you're a president of the company or we're leaders of who we are, and we look successful and we act successful, and for the most part we are, right.
Mhm.
And so we're not allowed to have those kind of emotions, and so I do appreciate you sharing that. That means a lot, and I'm sure it'll mean a lot to our audience, and just as we grow in our relationships, and even our relationship over the past few years. I mean, I think we were talking about it the other day when we were out for dinner with your family and stuff, and just enjoyed that. But it also, when they asked how long have you guys known each other? Well, we've, a little over 4 years now,
Yeah.
and but it feels like a whole lot longer than that, because we built a special friendship relationship. We work good together, but we just get along really well together outside of work too. And to me, that's been a huge blessing for us and for our families. For me, because I don't, I've got friends, but we don't hang out with a lot of people. We stay quiet, and we stay just kind of to ourselves, and we've done that for years and years. Part of it is by design. Part of it is just because we just who we are, kind of thing. So to be able to hang out with you guys has been, it's taken a while for me to get past that, because I used to always think, well, and I've been burnt in the past where I've gotten too close with people that I worked with, and then I felt like I got taken advantage of a little bit. And so I was always sheltered and guarded because of that. But with you guys, Stephanie and I both feel that, it's not even that at all. I mean, because we love hanging out with you guys on the outside. We love our friendship and our relationship. It's more than just work. I can promise you that. To us, it means a lot, and it's very special. And so, just to be able to do that, we do enjoy it, and feel none of that what I felt in the past with others that's happened that way. So, for whatever that's worth, but definitely thank you for sharing that part of it. It means a lot.
Yeah. And so I want to throw out these three silent scripts that I feel like a lot of men live under, and I really want to challenge you, if you're listening or watching. I want to challenge you to think: could these be some things that I've internalized for whatever reason? Either it's because of stereotype, or being brought up, or whatever. But I think this is really relevant. The first one's really relevant for leaders, and that is: do you tell yourself that you can't be the weak link? Are
Hmm.
you saying to yourself, I can't be the weak link? Because that's a lie that we have been taught to tell ourselves, that that we view issues or whatever that we could be going through as some type of weakness, and really at the end of the day, it's normal.
Right.
We all go through it. We just struggle talking about it. The second thing that men are typically telling themselves is, my value is in what I provide. It's not in who I am. And that's the other lie. Your value as a leader, man or woman, like, again, we're talking from a men's perspective. Your value as a man is who you are. It's not what you do or what you provide.
Right.
Your value as a man, as a leader, is the person that you are. It's just being you. And it's a lie we tell ourselves, that our value is tied to the things that we provide, how much money we bring home, the house we have, that kind of thing.
Right.
And that's not true. Then the third thing I want you to ask yourself, could this be you saying this to yourself, is, we believe that nobody wants to hear what I'm dealing with. either they don't care or they're too busy. You know, nobody wants to hear about my issues. But
Yeah.
if you think about it, you as a leader, you want to hear what other people are going through so that you can love on them, so that you can help them. Why would we think that nobody wants to hear what we're going through,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's, wow. Well, I mean, this is a good show right now because I just started a men's Bible study a few weeks back, and we were at it last night. I was at it last night, and the whole thing is your thoughts holding you captive. Well, this is the whole thing, right? I mean, that's what it's
Yeah.
about is your thoughts holding you captive because
Wow.
most men are they don't want to talk about their thoughts, the things that they're thinking because how we our outward appearance is one thing, but what happens inwardly is something totally different because the more you feel vulnerable and you don't want to feel that way as a man and but sometimes that's the best thing that you can do is open up and express that and when you can get into a group that's what the whole purpose of this whole conversation is to talk about that and everybody is opening up if you get to a point where it's quiet and nobody's saying anything then you're going to be quiet and not say anything. But when you have a group that can do it, and there's accountability there, there's no kind of a no judgment zone type of thing. Then you can open up and really, and it can be breakthroughs for you to have that. But last night was good. Really enjoyed it and talking with the group that I'm part of, and there's several men that there's only one man that I knew in it, and there was I think six of us in the room, and so we've all started talking, getting to know each other a little bit, and so it's good. I've enjoyed it, because when I walk out, I feel like I learned something from it, but I was also able to open up some of the things and just thoughts that I'm going through and processes I'm dealing with now, and how I look at it. But it's also knowing that when you're talking to someone, you don't know what they're going through, and sometimes they can be going through the worst time ever and you never know it because they shelter it so well,
Mhm.
right? I mean, because that's kind of where you've been to a degree because you've sheltered it really well because you didn't want to talk about it with others. Now you finally and kind of the breakthrough and talking to Landy and being able to share and open up about it, which is a tough thing. That's the toughest step, right? That's the biggest step is to be able to
Oh yeah.
to open up with it because that's we again we don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's such a big deal. I mean, can you imagine if we knew what all of our other men in the organization are thinking about and really what they're struggling with and what a change it would make, right? And that's, even when I look at here, when I talk about, glorify God, grow people, and change lives, which is our core focus of our company, um, that change lives part is, it would change the lives of a lot of the men that we have in here. So,
Mhm. I love that you're making those connections through that Bible study where you get around some people that you can trust to open up, and
yeah,
either you're the person that they're able to open up to, or they're the one that you can open up to. And I love that you've got that valve. And the other thing is, when I opened up to Landy, which was really really hard to do,
yeah, I can imagine.
she was so supportive. Like, it almost blew me away. I
And
don't know.
strong too, I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah,
just like, where'd that come from? But I mean,
yeah,
she just, she got it.
and it's hard to, I don't know why I would have thought that she would not have received it well or not been supportive, but that's just what I was thinking. But then when we did finally talk through it, man, I felt so much better. I'm like she's got my back.
Yeah,
Like, she's going to help me through this,
100%. Yes.
So, all right. As we kind of move towards wrapping, I want to talk about the mindset shift of, and this is coming off of our last episode, CEO burnout, and talking about, kind of that mindset shift. So I think this applies because that burnout can 100% lead to the types of things that we're talking about. Um, so I want to talk about what healthy strength actually looks like. Strength is not being stoic. Okay.
Mm,
Strength is being self-aware of understanding how you're feeling, understanding how you're thinking, and then acknowledging that. Be aware, actually name it what you're feeling. And that's the next step is that, strong leaders, you name what you're feeling rather than just trying to numb it or ignore it. And when I went through the IPEC training to become a certified coach, we spent a lot of time connecting how we're feeling to words and saying, this is what I'm thinking, this is how I'm feeling, using words. And that really helped me to do this very thing, to put me in a position where I could start to articulate kind of what's going on. So strong leaders name what they're feeling. They don't just numb it. The other thing is strong men, how many, we said this a ton in the annual, ask for help, ask for help.
Right.
You know, to one of our leaders in the room, they have a tendency to try to carry all the projects themselves and they don't ever ask anybody for help. Strong men ask for help when they need it,
Right.
whether it's help at work or mental health or help with a car, whatever it is.
Right.
You know, don't shoulder it all your own. Strong men ask for help. And then the final thing is healthy masculine strength is its presence, its connection, its steadiness, and its emotional maturity. It's not all the things you might see on a movie or, you know, something like that. Those are the things that, you know, I feel like now learning what I've been through, that's what it really means to be a healthy leader, a healthy man. It's presence, connection, steadiness, and emotional maturity. Focus on those things, and mental health, clarity, all those things kind of follow after.
Yeah. And be willing to ask for help, like you said, at any given moment. You know, it's, and that I'm not trying to make light of it, but it's kind of the, my analogy in a sense. You know, before GPS came out, it was so easy to pull off the map or do whatever and say, "Oh yeah, I know how to get there." And then all of a sudden you make a wrong turn to do whatever, and your wife looks at you and is like, "Oh, you said you knew how to get there." Well, you know, it's, but it's
Yeah.
that's how it is, because we want to take that and just say, "Hey, yeah, I've got this." And sometimes you don't. You know, Steph and I, we were coming home from her parents one time, and we took a 2 hour detour because I didn't make the right turn. And all of a sudden I ended up in Lexington instead of Louisville, coming from Cincinnati. But you know, it's a little degree of turn. It's a little timing, just and making the wrong decision before you know it. You're so far off of the track that you're on. And it, that's what it is, honestly, in our heart. And a lot of times is we don't ask for the right help. We don't ask for help at the right time. And it can cause us so much grief and so much pain because we're trying to do it on our own and trying to carry that burden instead of just asking for the directions, asking for the right help to, you know, whatever that situation or the problem may be. And so, as a man, I can see that big time. I mean, I'm sure I've got so many scars and stories of my own that, I could tell that, you know, it's tough times. Sometimes those build you in the right way, and that's what you want them to do, and that's what we are ingrained to do, is to learn from them that way. But to be able to open up and share it, and open up on your story and share that, I appreciate that. That's a big step,
Yeah.
and it's
And
hard.
so working through it is, it's a journey. It's not an
Yeah.
overnight fix, right? And so it's been a process. But one thing I can tell you is the minute you actually open up and talk to somebody,
Mm,
you instantly feel better and you feel like you're not alone. And that does a ton. So
yeah.
there's three things I just want to mention that you can do right now. If you're going through some of this stuff, if you know, here's three things you can do right now. Name the emotion you're feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what you're feeling. You're conscious of how you're feeling, but put a name to it. Is it depressed? Is it anxious? Is it angry? Is it frustrated? Is it lonely? Is it tired? Put names to the emotions that you're feeling. The next thing I want you to do is find one trusted person. That may be the biggest challenge for some of the guys we're talking to.
Right.
Find one trusted person. Now, look, if you don't have anyone in your life that you can trust with that kind of information, it may need to be a counselor or a doctor, or you know, you call an EAP line through your company, you know, benefits program, or
Yeah.
something like that. There are options out there. If you don't feel like you've got a spouse, a friend, a significant other, or whatever, you can open up to. But once you name that emotion or those emotions, share it with at least one trusted person. Share. And then the next thing is plan one small action step that you believe that you can take to start addressing how you feel. Okay. It starts right there. And then as you continue to do that, what you'll find is it will take you on a journey towards healing. It'll take you on a journey towards feeling better, finding answers. But it starts with those three simple things: name the emotion, share it with one trusted person, and then plan just one small action step that you want to take to start feeling better.
Yeah. That's good. I appreciate that. That's, Wow.
And, I mentioned this about, one trusted person, but, we all need a support circle,
Yeah.
peer, mentor, counselor, a therapist, a friend who really sees you, but only you know the type of support circle that you have. And if you don't have that kind of support circle,
Well, know the
get,
rules, right?
get,
Yeah.
get into a church where you got a men's Bible study and you can surround yourself with a group of guys. I mean, there's lots of ways to create a circle of trusted peers and support if you don't feel like you have one right now.
Especially when you have the opportunity to be able to open up and share, and the other people in the room are doing the same thing, because you can feel it when somebody's heart is being exposed and being opened up, and that's a huge thing when you can have that and be able to have someone that you can actually talk to and share, and whether it's the full group or whether it's one person in that group that you just know that you can feel that connection, that you can share with, if it's not your spouse. Thankfully, it was Landy that you were able to open up with, and she was very strong in that moment to be able to help you through that, and so that's huge. But being able to just being able to talk about it and open it up. I mean, the freedom that you had to have had at that moment was huge, and where you have it now to be able to talk about it. Hopefully, as you look at it, it's on the backside, and
Mhm.
but now it's just something it's going to be there, and you've always got to be able to protect that,
Yeah.
and she knows that too.
And now I feel like I'm in a good place, but when
Yeah,
I'm not, I can open up and talk to her about it. And it's so, just that alone takes a lot of the pressure off.
yeah,
So, if you're a leader, I'm not saying that you got to get into the air the dirty laundry of everything you're going through. But one thing I can promise you, demonstrating vulnerability from a leadership perspective attracts people to you. It attracts great people to you. It makes them feel like you're normal and you're not above the rest of the team. It will enhance trust. It'll enhance accountability. All the leadership, all the team dynamics that you need really start to come from a leader who can just be vulnerable and admit, hey, I'm not perfect. I've got some issues. I
yeah.
messed up on this or I messed up on that. So I promise you, when you're able to have some of these micro conversations, or you're, in whatever setting that looks like for you as a leader, when you demonstrate that vulnerability and that awareness to some of the things you're going through, it is going to build your team culture even better.
Wow, right. I mean yeah. When you can open up and expose and talk and just share with no judgment, and just have a zone that you can communicate and talk properly. I mean, my goodness. I mean that takes it to a whole another level
Yeah.
of trust, right, and relationship.
And you never know, to your point earlier, you never know what somebody else is going through,
Right.
you
Well, it
know,
just gives them the chance, the opportunity to open up.
and
Well, hey, you
it
know
tells
what?
them it's okay.
This is what I'm struggling with. That's perfectly fine.
Yep. Now, nobody think that we're sitting in our weekly meetings and this is all we talk about.
Oh no, not at all.
How's
Right.
everyone feeling? Talk about your mental health. And I'm not saying that would be a bad thing. We talk about business and we're focused and all that. But this is one piece
Mm.
that has to be integrated somehow, some way into the way you lead, the way you live, so that you can be the healthiest leader you possibly can at home, internally. You know, I've heard this said before that that we live three lives. We have a public life, we have a private life, and we have a secret life.
Yeah.
What we're talking about right now is that secret life that where you're struggling and you're
Yeah.
not letting people in. That secret life can't be secret anymore. The public life, the private life, and the secret life, they all need to be in alignment in order for you to be able to live the very best version of yourself that you possibly can.
Well, you got to ask yourself too, as a leader or a man, and just you know, how much are you carrying of your own right now, and how long have you carried that, right?
Great question.
Because that's we all are carrying something, especially when you talk about private life or those kind of things. It may be the things that are never said, nobody even knows, but it's the burdens that you've carried, and how long have you carried those things? It could be from a childhood, right? That you've just carried for decades, not just years or days or weeks, but for decades that you've carried along the way that have had an impact. It could be something that somebody said 30 years ago, 40 years ago,
Mhm.
or something that happened to you that you don't want anybody to know about, but it's something that's holding you back and hindering you, and really to the point of the end, right? I mean, it's a serious situation, serious question. I mean, it's a great topic today for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's a great way to wrap it up
Yep.
and call it an end. Hopefully, listening to this might, if nothing else, encourage you to either find somebody to talk to, or at the very least, think of someone in your life that might be carrying something quietly, and reach out to them. Be a trusted friend that
Yeah.
someone else would feel comfortable opening up with, opening up to, so that they can share as well. So listen, if you made it this far, we love you. We appreciate you. Mental health is a serious topic,
Yeah.
and you owe it to yourself, to your family, to your loved ones, to take care of yourself and to talk about the things that are bothering you. So we won't drag it out any more than that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hey, find us on our social media accounts, like, share, subscribe, all the things. And we cannot wait to talk to you on the next 3PX podcast. We'll see you soon.
Yep. Thanks. God bless. See you.